Hi, and welcome to episode 19 of the Hope of Mum and Dad podcast. I'm Becky, and this is Fuzz, and we're here to talk to you all about IVF, infertility, and for us, waiting to start treatment for all of the above.
And talking to other people and their experiences, some of them medical, some of them people themselves.
Yeah.
But today, it's just us two. So what have we been up to this week?
Working hard. Both of us are really tired.
Yep.
Working. We were expecting a call from the clinic to talk to us about,
I can't. So yeah,
returning a call.
I was about to talk about that, but I can't remember how much we covered last time. I'll just not worry about that. But so like a while ago, we had a phone call. Like we were originally meant to have our treatment and stuff kind of start in March. Then COVID happened. Then they, obviously all that stuff went nuts. So they cancelled everything. And then we've been checking in, trying to find out what's going on. And they said a couple of weeks ago, you'll get a call by the end of September and we'll hopefully get you in. Awesome. Then the end of September comes and they phoned us up and they said, no. It's going to be another 4 months.
No thank you, ghosts.
Yeah, which was really annoying. And now by the looks of it, 4 months is probably, the conservative. It might be a lot longer than 4 weeks because nobody's listening to all this COVID stuff and it's getting worse.
Definitely. So last week I was really down in the dumps because we recorded the podcast the day that I spoke to the clinic. And you were like, just be positive. Anyway,
No,
I had a sulky day.
Hang on. I got to address this now. This, I agree with you. If someone is saying, don't worry about it, just be happy, that's bullshit. But what I was doing was just trying to find things to appreciate. I'm not saying that you're not allowed to be pissed off. Never said that. But I'm not going to get pissed off if I'm trying to be positive. Then I'm not going to preach to you and say it's wrong because it's not. But if I want to stay positive and be like, okay, what are we going to do? Like wherever, then I will.
Yeah.
And I think it's a double-edged sword. You talked about toxic
Positivity.
Toxic, yeah. And I was like, all right, this is a bit loaded. Like, I don't really like that because sometimes you need someone to be positive, and there's a difference between someone being positive and, like when you're in a mood, I'll make funny songs up and just be an idiot and oh God, I'm struggling today. And sing Beyonce songs and just be silly and just try and take your mind off it. It's fine. Yeah. But I'm just saying that, you are moody.
Yeah. Yeah. As are you in the morning.
As are you.
Yeah.
Cool. And you're not competitive either. You don't like to draw comparisons.
I'm not competitive, but I do compare.
Okay.
There's a difference.
Anyway.
So I was fine after that day, and I've been fine the rest of the week.
You're allowed to be pissed off, though.
Yeah. But, we just keep going. And we keep on having setbacks, and we keep waiting. But you just have to carry on. So that's what we've been doing. But also, because of the disappointment, I did start looking into, what are the options privately. I don't really necessarily think that's an option for us, but you can finance treatment and stuff. So
I'm a photographer. Most of my money comes from wedding photography, and then I do a lot of art projects and documentaries and things like that, which are not which are not like that well paid or paid at all sometimes. So the weddings kind of cover everything and keep us going, and you've got a good job too. So I don't know. I with work, I've taken a couple of bookings for weddings and stuff. But still, I'm hoping, I'm crossing my fingers. I'm like, all right, everything's gonna turn around, things gonna be cool and stuff like that. But
yeah, well, I
don't think we can afford private treatment.
The way COVID's turned out as well, you're basically working for free next year.
Yeah,
which sucks a bit.
I think though, I'm not going to grumble about that because I do love my job and I feel really lucky to do what I do. And if when we do have kids, it'll probably be quite flexible. It'll probably be quite good.
Handy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot more different. I'm doing different work as well. I'm diverse. I'm always diversifying. I'm always doing loads of stuff. But everyone's adapting. I know so many people's jobs, industries are just disappearing overnight. Like, I'm really worried about the events industry. Like, technically, I work in the events industry, but I don't I'm not sort of when I talk about being concerned and all the stuff that's wrong with it. Like, I'm not going on about myself. I'm more worried about people, like film crews and people who work in, at gigs, and sound technicians, lighting technicians, bands, musicians, actors, like just gone overnight. And they want to work. It's not that they're lazy. Like, they want to work, but they can't because of to stop the spread and all this kind of stuff. But if you just leave them out to dry, like, I don't know what the answer is, but if you just leave them out to dry, they,
it's gonna go.
All that, because you have to do these things for a long time to get good. And think about, like, everyone that's been in lockdown when things were bad. What did everyone do? They, like, listened to music, read books, watched YouTube people teach them things.
Appreciated the arts.
Yeah. And, like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know what the general gauge of it is by the general public. But my general gauge of what the general public think is way off, because I thought most people were like, oh, COVID bad, we should, if there's a vaccine that's coming out, we should do it, we should listen to the rules, we should stop spreading. But the amount of people, like, I might get off Facebook soon, because most people are like, Bill Gates is trying to control your brain, he's going to microchip you and they're going to take over the world. And you're like, okay, but can you stop being a wally? Because when people like you go out and spread misinformation and tell people not to wear masks and it's all a conspiracy, more people get sick, and then more people like us have to wait for, like, NHS treatment. And to be fair, like, at least we're not, touch wood, I mean, it's not like our lives are not on the line. It's a quality, it's still important. We want to have a family, we need IVF to do that, but it's not like imagine cancer patients and stuff like that, and then people going around going, oh, it's all a conspiracy, it's all a hoax. Yeah. Just, like, I think it's really, really selfish, and it's like an episode of, like, Black Mirror. It's really dark how people can just go, no, I've decided all these scientists are wrong, all these experts are wrong. They're all, it's upsetting. Yeah.
Going back to you saying, like, I'm not discounting what you just said, but going back to what you said,
feels like that.
I'm not. Like, I just
you don't want to polarize people. You don't want people to. You don't want to agree with me because you don't want people to.
I didn't disagree with
jump in, and it's selfish. People sharing stuff. Like, I can appreciate people's point of view. Yeah. But if you haven't got a medical degree, you're not a virologist, and you haven't been all over the world and seen, talking to these experts, you can't sit there all day clicking.
But you have to think about how much power those people who are posting that stuff have. Not much. Like,
I don't know though, because it's gaining traction. There are so many people now that are like, people never in a million years. I've said, like, I could be wrong. But it's like, we got option A, which is,
take the vaccine.
Don't go mixing and mingling, stuff like that, because it's a viral thing and it'll move from person to person, which I believe, because it's true and scientists believe that. And then you get option B, which they're saying is, don't listen to anything, just go out, break the rules, have house parties with loads of people, don't wear masks and all that stuff. And then you think, okay, so if we do my option A, listen to the NHS, do everything properly, wear a mask, don't be a dick, basically, then what's the worst that can happen? Apart from, like, evil, microchip things in your body and Bill Gates taking over the world stuff, which could be true, but it's probably not. Or the option B is doing what they're doing, and years of science and scientists and things we already know are a fact make everyone worse. Yeah. And sick people die. And vulnerable people die.
But lots of people, I can understand, are worried about the vaccine because it'd be new. and not.
But this is the thing: we don't even know what we're talking about. We're not scientists.
Yeah.
I read a tiny bit about it, but what I read was that they're basically using. I'm probably going to butcher this. I'm not. Don't listen to me. You know, you can pretend that I'm in on the conspiracy. You know, I'm a shill or whatever they call me. But from what I read, most traditional vaccines, they give you like a little bit of the actual disease, like into your body.
Yeah.
Then you get antibodies to do and stuff like that. But what they're doing with this is they're actually changing the DNA. So they're using like the 6X, I think anyway, and I could be wrong. But from what I read, it was like they're going to take a vaccine that already works and change a tiny part of it for the antibodies. So it's not like that new. And, you know, like...
Parts of it are not new.
Yeah.
But any scientific thing like that,
it goes
regardless
through
of whether you're a
rigorous testing.
scientist...
It goes through rigorous testing.
But it won't be...
It will. They're going through clinical trials now. They don't just dish it out to everyone.
Yeah, they will next year if they think it's ready. But normally, medications do take years.
But you know, yeah, so this is another thing. Like, first of all, I don't know what I'm talking about. I just read some stuff, right? And I always make sure it's from accredited sources, like John Hopkins disease for... I forget those, it escapes me, but the John Hopkins Center for, like, I don't know, like, what's the word for
virologist?
Anyway, John Hopkins Center is, I think it's in Liverpool, but that's like the world leading, like, source of information, and it's peer reviewed, you know, like everyone looks up to it in the field. But I'll listen to scientists and they're saying nothing will be released. I think there was some controversy with Russia because I think they were like planning or have dished out a bunch of vaccines without the proper clinical tests or something. Not sure about that, which I would be like, maybe not. But like for a vaccine to be delivered, then it has to go through 3 rounds of testing. It's like smaller group and then a larger group and then a larger group again. But I mean, like, what are you going to do? You're just going to... Because you speak to some people and it's just like, no, I don't believe that. You can. There's so many people on YouTube, including us, right?
Yeah.
I could go out and tell you, like, it's going to rain penguins tomorrow.
Yeah.
And if another 20 people did as well, and that's the only 20 people you listen to on YouTube, and then you speak to all the people that, like, subscribe.
But you've just proved the point that I said a second ago. Like, you know that website that you go to, John Hopkins, is credible because you understand the source. You understand whether a source is valid or not. I think most people know if they watch 15
Media
videos about penguins being, like, a form of precipitation, then they're not going to take it as face value because of where they're coming from.
But you think that, and the thing that scares me is how people are like calling me rude and disrespectful for using. I don't even want to say common sense because that triggers people, and they say you watch too much mainstream media and whatever. But it's upset me because we could be pregnant now.
Yeah, it's got.
If people listened and were like, okay, I believe, like, and I'm not saying you have to blindly follow, if someone said, take this vaccine, I'd be like, but it's a pandemic. I don't know. It's just really upsetting because it's affecting us and there's people that are dying as well.
Yeah, I think because it's affecting us medically and we've lost someone from COVID, it's still quite abstract to a lot of people, so they just don't care.
Do you know what really pisses me off? When I tell people, I was like, oh, my granddad died on a COVID ward. Do you know what people do? They go, oh, did he die of COVID or did he die with it? He's like 70, in his late 70s, right?
No, he's early 80s, mid 80s.
Yeah.
Maybe older?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And he had Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And that virus didn't keep him alive longer, did it?
It's like
not
people
helpful.
saying at least when you lose a baby or something. It's like people not validating what happened or your feelings about it. They're
I don't give a shit about my feelings.
It.
Like, I know I would be respectful of other people's feelings, but I don't.
But it's like a common thing where people like minimize whatever you said to make it more comfortable for them. Like with people having miscarriages and stuff, they say, well, everything happens for a reason, or at least you can try again. Those kind of things that kind of make your experience.
Yeah, I don't know. I think some people do that, and it's really not a good thing to do.
Yeah.
But sometimes people don't know.
Yeah.
And they just don't. But when like you got,
there's a lot in the news about people saying that, you know, COVID's been misreported, isn't it? So a lot of people are skeptical. But skeptical.
No, but it probably is though. Like this. Well, think about it, right? The government, who are a shit Tory, incompetent government, in my opinion. Like, they have really ballsed it out. Like when, you know, when other countries were like full, their ICU wards were full and everything was going bad, they were like, "This is coming. Don't mess around. You're 2 weeks behind." We were accepting flights from all over Europe.
We still are.
Yeah, they weren't. Well, I mean, I don't really know what the answer is, but at least in other countries, they take your information and they check on you and stuff, and they sort of check in on you and make sure you're, you know, social distance stuff. There was none of that. Cheltenham Festival went ahead. Like it was, and now we're suffering. And if you complain about it, if you say, "I'm pissed off with the government for doing a shit job of controlling this thing," people, you know, I don't know, I would never vote Conservative, ever. That's just my political leaning. I think people should be looked after.
Yeah.
I don't agree with some of their policies, but I can cut them slack when needed. I'm not like hardcore, like I'm on this side and I'll never see censor of it. Like, it's a tough job. You know, I don't know what's going. You know, if Labour were in charge when this happened, it probably would have been, you know, probably bad as well. Like, but my point is, like, you can't. You even say, "Oh, the government don't know what they're doing about it," and people just get so polarized. Yeah. And it's the same with these, like, you know, it's like I'm on Team Blue, you're on Team Red. You're like, well, how are we just like, people are dying. Yeah. So I'm pissed off with people, and you talk about it, and I literally can't understand how nuts it's getting. And I say that, you know, I try really hard I'm not saying that people are crazy or they're nuts or they shouldn't believe this or whatever, but I think the whole situation is just crazy.
I think loads of people are really scared because obviously it's delays for anyone who's waiting for treatment or to start treatment like us. And now it's like, are we going to get delayed even more because there might be a second wave and people will be redeployed again?
Yeah. And the whole thing's fucking fixable. If people just listened...
Stay in.
Obviously, you're going to get people that maybe people go out for a drink and they get carried away with the drink, you know, and they don't do the social distancing like they should. And that doesn't help. But when people are actively sitting at home sharing links saying like, "Oh, this is all lizard people are taking over the world and this is all a plan to microchip you," and all, like, it's probably not. Stop sharing information like that, telling people not to do stuff, because, you know, selfishly for us, the more that happens, the later we have to wait. So, and I want to hear from, you know, our listeners and stuff like that. Like, I'd like to know how you feel about it. If you've been waiting for IVF, you know, like us. Because part of me feels like people are going to judge me for being, like, annoyed at people thinking COVID is a conspiracy. But I think I'm quite justified to be annoyed and pissed off that we are not pregnant. Yeah. And could be, not definitely guaranteed, but we could be. I just don't fucking get it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, so that my question was to listeners and stuff like that. How do you feel about if you've had your treatment like postponed or put on hold and stuff like that? How do you feel when you see people sharing all this stuff saying, you know, like Karen up the road, this is me, he says it's all nonsense, he's a doctor, and it turns out he's like an optician or something. I know, seriously, like some of these rallies in London, they were like, they use all these buzzwords like true medical professionals. I tried asking someone what a true medical professional was the other day, and I said, okay, would you sit down and have a podcast? Would you Zoom, obviously, social distancing, but would you come on the podcast and talk to an A&E doctor who's like, I didn't say this to them, but just seen it. But in my head, I'm thinking this person has seen, they've probably sacrificed time with their family and loved ones. They haven't seen their family. They've been through a lot of stress and have had a hard time, and they've watched people die, and then deal with, Jimmy No Brains, who has no idea what he's talking about, and be like sharing all this. I can't get over it.
Yeah, it's
Let us know, please, any of the listeners, someone tell me that I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Because it's so
I don't think
annoying.
you are. We know you're not. So I was looking into it, and I was looking at different clinics around Cardiff, because our practice manager at the clinic that we will be going to said that you can have one round privately before you have NHS funded treatment. But then I was thinking about it some more and thinking, if we went private and for our first round,
can I just jump? Anyway, we haven't got the money to do that.
Yes.
So it's
Anyway, we haven't.
Go on, carry on.
But suppose we did. Say we did have the money, then we got pregnant. If we did
you wanted another
then
one.
have children and we wanted another one, I don't know if we'd be considered on the NHS anymore, because they don't take people who've got kids.
Well, luckily for us, we haven't got $5,000 kicking about, so we
I
can't do
know.
it.
We can just start saving in case our NHS rounds don't work.
And
Because
my very not that amazing living that I make has just disappeared this year.
yeah.
And I got to work for free
So
next year.
diversification, like we were talking about before, it's not really something you could do right now, but because of
I got loads of
restrictions.
stuff I could do. I've not been well.
Yeah, can you let me finish?
Anyway.
So diversification, I was going to ask you, you couldn't do it now because of restrictions in hospitals, but would you ever do birth photography?
Maybe. But I'd have to have I wouldn't just like get called up and go. I would have to like meet people. And
You'd have to start like
I could do it.
training again, because it's a different kind of photography.
No.
No?
No.
You just rock up. Obviously, if you had a relationship with people, you could just rock up and take good photos. You wouldn't have to just practice taking birth photos.
I wouldn't do it if there was even a remote chance of it being uncomfortable for them. Let alone me. I don't matter.
Well, mostly I think birth
But-
photographers work with you like for a long time during your pregnancy.
Yeah, I could, but I would. When it comes to the actual technical, could I do it? But yeah, I could, because when you've been a photographer for as long as I have, you wouldn't just turn up and shoot something anyway.
Yeah.
You would research it and plan it and stuff. But
I was thinking it must be a difficult job to actually
I think
book
you'd
it
be
in.
good at it.
I think I'd be interested in us having it, but I'd want you to do it, because I'd rather you be taking photos of my naked body than anybody else. But at the same time, I want you with me, helping me actually give birth. So
Well,
it's,
yeah.
well,
I'm just there, aren't I?
Yeah, but you can't support me going through a difficult moment and capture that difficult moment at the same time.
I could try.
You could try. Yeah.
If anyone could do it, it's me, because I've got a camera on me all the time. I don't know.
Maybe by the time we actually have a baby, there won't be restrictions and you could be in the birthing room with me. Because most people at the moment, they can't be in there unless it's in active labour.
My initial response to that is like, nah, you'll be fine.
Would you?
You would.
Yeah.
Well, think about it this way, right?
I would.
I make my living from shooting weddings, right?
Yeah.
So I've kind of gotta be there.
Yeah.
Like if it gets, I don't know.
I know because of your circumstance, like in your work, that if we ever,
I would speak.
you might not be at the birth.
I would speak to someone.
Yeah.
I would speak to the couple. I'd be like my wife might give birth.
Yeah.
And talk to them about it and stuff like that. But like if someone's booked you, I mean, and I would probably say to them like, how would you feel if I have one of my associates step in or whatever? But I wouldn't force it on.
But I've always had that in my mind, like thinking before that we would get pregnant.
Off
actually,
you pop, go on.
That you'd be like at a wedding,
Bring it back.
and then I'd be like, "Ooh, Fuzz, my waters are broken."
It's all slimy. Come, go and wash it off, will you? And bring it back.
Yeah.
Come back with a little pristine baby.
Do you think? I mean, it's pretty much a given that couples go in together nowadays, but in yonder years, in days gone by, your partner wouldn't have been in there with you, and it would just be you.
Really? Even in the 60s and all that?
No, it started in the 60s, probably. The 50s and the 60s, men and women would be more present at the birth. But before that, they wouldn't. So, would you want to be there?
Do you know what? I think you can handle anything. And if you had to do it on your own, you would.
Yeah, I would.
And you would tell me about it for a long time.
I'd have to, because you wouldn't believe me.
Nah.
You'd be like, oh yeah, I could do that.
I don't know. I don't,
no problem.
I don't want that to come across as, and like not decent. No, what's the word? I don't want that to come across as insensitive.
No. Do you know what I think?
But I do think that if that you're tough, like you can just do it.
Tough cookie. I always think that if we did go through labour like that we'd be like Rachel and Ross in Friends, where Rachel headbutts Ross and he's knocked out. Loads of men faint when they're in the room.
I don't think I would faint.
You don't think?
I don't really faint in general.
I think sometimes
I don't think when I should faint.
Not necessarily because of what they're seeing, but because they've forgotten to eat, because you might be there for hours and hours and hours.
I do 50-mile bike rides fasted.
Yeah.
But saying that, I did feel faint the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah. From not eating. I did a 20k run, and then the next day I went out for a little dog walk, got carried away. I went for a 15-kilometer dog walk. And I didn't eat. And I did feel a bit ropey like.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know.
So that's our thoughts, really. We are still waiting, and we'll be waiting for a long time, which sucks, which is why
we might not. But what I'm doing is I'm being like our mate.
It's just annoying.
Who was our mate that we spoke to the other week?
Which one? We're speaking to loads of
people. The
people.
last guest.
Nisreen.
Yeah. She said, sorry, Nisreen. I'm just ridiculously bad with names in general. And I don't want to be rude and scroll from my phone. I'll just ask Becky. But I think she said something like, I'm a pessimistic optimist. Optimistic pessimist.
The other way, I think.
Yeah.
Think the worst, and then when the best happens, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's making me want to be pregnant more than ever. I just want to be... I want us to have a baby now.
We gotta wait. We gotta wait. And that's just the way it is, isn't it?
Yeah. It's really annoying. Just get a baby in me.
Okay.
My body's ready. Yeah, I think that's another reason why I'm tired, because school's been so intense, but also because it's emotionally exhausting going through this. So I think we're both just really tired from all the emotion, and being around the kids normally doesn't get me down, but lately they've been really cute, and I've just been like, I want to take you home. And I can't.
Yeah, so I don't know. I would like to hear other people on their thoughts of what's going on and whatever.
Yeah, send us a DM. I maybe put some question boxes out on stories.
Yeah, probably put some polls out and stuff. But this week's just been a bit of shit, really.
It has, but we've got a few exciting guests lined up for the next few weeks. We've got a fertility coach coming on. We're hoping to speak to producer of a show about infertility, and I was going to talk to you. We should watch a new show that's come on BBC iPlayer, that's on BBC at the moment, called Me, My Brother and Our Balls, and it's all about male infertility. So that's something we should check out and then share with everyone on the podcast. But I
like doing the normal approach, which is you obsess about it and get into it and read it, and then I ask you questions naively.
Don't you want to watch it with me?
I don't know. How long is it?
They're probably 30-minute episodes. I don't know. It's like a little series. It's all the boys together.
I get weird about stuff that I watch now. I like watching light and fluffy, silly
Fear
comedies.
the Walking Dead is not light and fluffy.
Yeah, but I'm not. It's kind of lost me a little bit. It's hard to keep up with at the moment.
I'm watching something light and fluffy right
now.
No one's had a baby. The home edit.
No one's had a baby in Fear the Walking Dead.
Not lately, no. No, not ever. But in the other one they have.
Yeah.
So yeah, we should wrap it up now.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up.
It's tired. We hope you are all okay and coping. And if you're not, reach out and talk to us. We're here.
If anyone else
support you.
If anyone else is in the same boat as us and has had their treatment delayed, once or twice or ever, let us know what you're thinking about, with everything going on at the moment, because I haven't heard from anyone that feels the same as me.
I'm sure there's loads of people out there.
I know.
We'll find out.
It's called confirmation bias. You find the people that agree with you.
Get into your echo chamber.
Yeah. Please. Because
you need one, so you don't feel so lonely.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Fuzz.
I want to feel a bit more sane.
Yeah. Cool. So on that positive note, you can check us out on Instagram at Hope and Mum and Dad, and we're over on Facebook too at Hope and Mum and Dad. Hope you have a good day. Bye.